There are several choices that can be made throughout the gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077. Whether it's in the main story, the love interest that V chooses, or the many different endings to play, they all have different consequences as well as their own spin on the dilemma that plagues the main character. By the time the final arc rolls around, V and Johnny have to make a choice in order to rid themselves of the biochip. However, each ending has its own pros and cons that would deeply affect the characters with who V has a connection to. There are plenty of endings in CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk 2077. All of these decisions occur after meeting Hanako at Embers, but some of these endings have requirements that must be met before the player walks into the meeting with Hanako. As long as players are diligent about completing quests and uncovering everything the game has to offer, they'll find themselves spoiled for options when it comes to one of the many unique endings players can pursue with their friends. Hello friends, and welcome back to Game Rant. I'm Casey, and today we're going to be explaining every Cyberpunk 2077 ending. At number 6, we've got the Path of Least Resistance. As stated, the Path of Least Resistance is the choice made by V if they lose their will to live. If V chooses to lay everything to rest, they will decide to go for the option that would cause the least amount of bloodshed for everyone. Although Johnny disagrees, the duo says their goodbyes before V ultimately takes their own life. This choice is always available no matter if the character has or hasn't done side content. It's also the only one with no epilogue. However, the credit crawl includes all of V's friends either in mourning or in utter shock over why V would ever do something like that. At number 5, we've got The Devil. One of the darkest endings in Cyberpunk 2077 comes when V decides to follow the Arasaka path. If V chooses to trust Hanako, they will take the Omega blockers and have Johnny disappear for a while. After a series of missions, the player eventually captures Yorinobu Arasaka, although he collapses due to his condition. Waking up in a space station, V gets what they've been promised, with the biochip removed and Johnny being gone. However, after a series of repetitive tests where V has to walk on a treadmill, indulge in Q&A, and play with the Rubik's Cube, V eventually gets a chance to talk with their friends and allies. They primarily seem disappointed by the fact that V followed Arasaka. Eventually, V has to make a choice of signing a contract as they only have 6 months to live due to the relic's effect on their body. If they sign the contract, their consciousness gets put into Mikoshi with the potential chance of coming back. If V chooses not to sign, they return to Earth knowing that they'll die with no help. At number 4, we've got The Star. If V does all the side missions with the Aldecados and Pan Am before meeting Hanako and Embers, they'll have the option where they ask the Aldecados for help. After a series of missions where they raid Arasaka Tower, V eventually connects into cyberspace and learns that they only have 6 months to live. If V decides to return to their body, they eventually leave Night City with Pan Am and the rest of the Aldecados. Pan Am even suggests that she has a friend that may be able to help V with their condition. Especially when taking the romance route with Pan Am, this is widely considered the best ending. At number 3, we've got Temperance. Temperance is a unique ending that occurs every time V decides not to return to their body. When this choice is made, Johnny takes over the player's body and V is gone. After waking up in an unknown apartment, Johnny packs his things and plans to leave Night City. Before he does though, he becomes good friends with a young man named Steve. After getting a ride from him, he buys Steve a vintage guitar and visits V's grave. If V completed the quest Path to Glory, they will also have the chance to visit Rogue's grave. Afterward, Johnny leaves Night City for good, with many characters being angry, indifferent, or ignorant of Johnny during the credits. At number 2, we've got The Sun. The Sun ending occurs if V decides to let Johnny take over for the final mission. The prerequisite for this ending is that the player must do all of the side missions that relate to Johnny Silverhand specifically. Walking into Afterlife, Johnny teams up with Rogue and infiltrates Arasaka Tower. After a series of events including the death of Rogue, Johnny learns that V only has 6 months to live. Deciding to let V take back his body, the player learns that they are a Night City legend. Taking over the afterlife in the process, V eventually meets a shady client. This client tells V that if they do this last job, they can do something about V's life. Taking the job results in V rocketing to space as they prepare to infiltrate the Crystal Palace Casino. The ending remains open-ended as the credits roll just before V enters. And the final Cyberpunk 2077 ending on this list is the Sun and Temperance endings with a secret variation. This secret variation is known as Don't Fear the Reaper, and it only becomes available if V's relationship with Johnny is around 70% or higher. Rather than drag all of the player's allies into danger, V and Johnny decide to handle Arasaka themselves. It becomes a mission where they decide how they go out on their own terms, ending everyone in their path in order to find Mikoshi. Guards and other security forces within Arasaka Tower in this ending are extremely difficult. V has to come prepared for this because if they lose their life before reaching the objective, there is no respawn. respawn. The game simply ends and the credits roll. If B manages to reach Mikoshi, they enter cyberspace. All events and details, such as romance options, after this point are subject to choices the player made, ultimately resulting in the Path of Glory ending. This time, though, everyone's alive. And there you have it, folks. All Cyberpunk 2077 endings explained. Let us know in the comments which ending in Cyberpunk 2077 was your favorite. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, be sure to visit GameRant.com for more top-notch gaming content. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care for now.